Welcome to Company Havoc number 2. So we're gonna talk about acting, and we're gonna talk about like when I get signed to a show or whatever. All right. So let's say I get blessed, and Kevin Feige sees this, and I get a job with Disney as a Native American superhero on whatever show they choose to give me. Might have to retcon my size because I'm only 5'3", but we can still work with that. We can pull that crap they did with the Hobbits in Lord of the Rings. So, for whatever show I get on, and if I'm blessed to be on for the whole show, like all the way from beginning to the end, even if I'm not the star, I have a couple of conditions. The main conditions is that I don't do sex scenes, especially with men. I don't roll that way. I'm not that good of an actor. But I will say, more importantly, for the fans, which is why I'm saying this now, because this is more or less for the fans, there has to be an ending. There can't be any cop-outs. There can't be any cliffhangers. Like maybe the first 2 seasons, like cliffhanger endings. Okay, cool. Sorry, that's kind of distracting. Like if let's say the thing goes for 5 seasons. All right, season 1, 2, and 3 can have cliffhangers for the ending, but we got to do extra good when we come back. You know, season 4 and 5, which would be the last 2 seasons, if we're blessed to get past season 3. See, 3 is always that if you make it through 3, you're good for 2 more, and your show just might make it to 7. I'm praying for at least 3 seasons. If it's a 5-season show, I don't want it to be like my favorite shows. They were copped out and cut off before the shows ever got finished. Like Sliders. That was a big ass cop out. That was a very, very big cop out. And I'm mad because they never gave you a full ending on what happens to the humans and the other people. Caprica. I was in the military, so I didn't get to see the end of it. I didn't get to see it in the Smallville, but I know Caprica got canceled. But I didn't get to see the last episode, and that kind of sucked. I can go watch the last episode. Dark Matter. Didn't get to see the end of it. Got canceled. Now, at least like with Farscape, they came back and they finished it with the Peacekeeper Wars and stuff like that. So, you know, if you're going to come back with a TV movie, I'm phenomenally ready for that. Forgive the deodorant stains. I know y'all see it. Especially on this arm over here. Now, Sliders, great show. Great show to the end. The last episode leaves you hanging, and I would never, ever forgive myself for the fans to just be like, well, what the fuck happens next? And you don't even get a TV movie to close it out or solve the problem. So that's not an option. That is completely, phenomenally, no exceptions. That shit's not an option. The show must have a beginning and an end. Especially if I'm like one of the premier actors in the show. Otherwise, you can kill me off in the first season and I can go cry about it some other time. But I think for fanship, for every show, you know, if you're there for more than 1 season, you need to be able to finish the show. All right, y'all don't have to agree with me, but I think that every show should have an ending. It should have an ending. It doesn't have to be a perfect ending. It can be a tragic ending, but it has to have an ending, and one that makes sense. All right. The way Supernatural ended was good. The way Sliders ended was a big slap in the face. The way Stargate in Space ended, the one with Lou Diamond Phillips, I didn't like that ending. At least Stargate SG-1 ended great. Stargate Atlantis ended great. The Stargate Infinity cartoon, you know, it got canceled, so that kind of screwed that up. No loose ends, no TV movie, nothing. And then the last Stargate TV show, with Lou Diamond Phillips. Yeah. Now, again, Dark Matters got canceled. Fuck, what was the show with Iceman's brother in it? Damn, because that had a good ending. I didn't like it, but it had a decent ending with the British girl and something about "Go get your gun." I'm still trying to find that theme song. Um, what the hell was it? Because Their Jobs was the name of the show. Killjoys. That had a good ending. Again, I didn't like it, but it had a decent ending, so it kind of completed the story. The story must be complete. The 300. Spoiler alert. It had a good ending. I didn't like it, but it had a good ending. Um, Battlestar Galactica. Again, the ending was the biggest, fantastic, flangorious kick to the gut. It had a cop out ending. No ending in any show that I've watched has been worse than Sliders. Now, I will say, as a Star Trek fan, I didn't like how they ended Voyager, and I didn't like how they ended Enterprise. Voyager, they kind of copped out a little bit. Enterprise ended okay, still a fucking cop out, but they ended it. One of my favorite shows, I'm glad the remake's doing well, Quantum Leap. The ending was a cop out. I don't like cop out endings. As an actor, I don't want my fans mad at me because they don't know what the fuck happens to my character. Sam Beckett's still out there, damn it. Leaping from life to life. And we don't know if he's going to appear in the new show. And I plead to Scott Bakula, who does not know I exist, but if he's out there and if this gets to you, Scott Bakula, please make a guest appearance on the show. We all need to know what the fuck happened to Sam. We know that the actor that played your hologram, Al, we know he passed, and we know his daughter is incorporated into the show. It's not his biological daughter, but we know you know how acting works. So, Mr. Bakula, aka Sam Beckett, if you're out there, please make an appearance. Maybe you could be like when the show has run its course. Maybe Sam can help the new guy. I watched the show and can't think of the name right now just because I'm talking about it. The new guy finally get home, even though his life's been jacked to frack up and he lost his girlfriend. But no cop outs, man. No cop outs. As an actor, I refuse to have a cop out. I don't want a cop out. I don't want a cop out. I give mad props to Farscape because they came back with the Peacekeeper Wars. They tied up all the loose ends. They fixed everything. I'm not happy what happened with Dargo, but they fixed everything, and they solved it. I remember the Flash Gordon TV show, which was like totally nowhere near the comic book or the original movie. It was all over the place, but it also had a cop-out ending, which really sucked. I don't want a show with a cop-out ending. I do not. I didn't like what they did with Scorpion. I really loved that show. I didn't like what they did with MacGyver, the new one. I really loved that show. I don't like how they ended Hawaii Five-O. I think they could have went another season or two, or what they could have done was recast and let new people come in while Danny goes his way and McGarrett goes his way, believe everybody else running Hawaii Five-O. Brand new captain comes in, takes over, just as good as McGarrett. That would have worked out. It could have gave me a job. Anyway, moving on from that. A lot of shows that are cop-outs. I don't think anime really does cop-outs because if it's anime, you can always turn it into a series and go and go and go and go. I do not like the ending of Attack on Titans. I call that another fucking cop-out. I love the show, hated the ending. They didn't tie up enough loose ends, and I'm calling it a cop-out. It came on last weekend, or the weekend before last. So I don't want that. I don't want to have fans out there just lost. They're like, well, how does it end? What happens? Is it a happy ending? Is it a bad ending? Is it one in the middle? You could always go in the middle. And there's another reason why I don't like cop-outs. The original saga. Not this. This is a legendary edition. But the original saga. This is another reason why I don't like cop-outs. Cop-outs is like a big, fat kick you in the stomach and then knee you in the face kind of thing. Alright? When I first played Mass Effect, the original trilogy, and then it gave you the DLC with the Leviathan, and then they gave you the fourth ending, where if you do nothing, you still continue the war. But you don't continue the war. The game goes on until the female Stargazer explains everything. Tell me more about the Shepherd. I don't like that. I do not like cop-outs. You have to have a decent ending. It doesn't have to be a happy ending, but you have to have a decent ending. Decent enough where people can be satisfied at the same time. You got 4 endings in the original Mass Effect. The do nothing ending, which is okay. It's BS, but it's okay because it doesn't even give you anything in the aftermath other than the female Stargazer, where destroy everything. You know, Shepard breathes at the end, so you don't even get a back. Like you give us DLC like the next day, no missions or anything, just a fill in to let everything match the story that's at the end. Shepard becomes a Reaper. Male or female, doesn't matter, becomes a Reaper, and the Reapers go off into dark space. You can give us a DLC for that. Shepard melds everybody into one species genetically, where everybody's part cybernetic and part organic. But Shepard still dies. So yeah, I don't like that shit. And the reason why I say that, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate from Mass Effect fans, but I'm gonna say this shit. You put a lot of your life into Shepard. And it doesn't matter how many times you play the game. We all play the game differently. Sometimes we do Paragon, sometimes we do Renegade, but every time you are invested in Shepard. I am probably the only person who plays the game exactly the same, regardless if my character is male or female. I stay on that neutral line. Sometimes I do Renegade shit, sometimes I do Paragon shit. It just depends on the situation that I'm in. Now, for the most part, I've always played Mass Effect with Fem Shep versus Male Shep. Fem Shep, you get to do a little bit more, and you get to have both lesbian and straight relationships. Male Shep, you only get to have straight relationships, which is cool. You know, I'm always down with straight relationships, but I get to explore more with the girl, and you get to see boobs. That's the main reason why I play. You get to see boobs. If you date females on this game, you get to see boobs. Same thing with Sarah, except for with Sarah, unless you date the alien in Mass Effect Andromeda, you only get to see boobs when you have a relationship with Jaw. That's it. You get to mess with other women, you get to touch them and pat and all that other shit, but you don't get to see any other nudity outside of that. Now, if you're Scott, if you're with Cora, you get to see boobs. If you're with the other woman on the Angora woman, if you can figure out how to get that, you get to see boobs. You can't date Lexi. You can date the Turian woman as both. And if you want to go the gay route, you can date Gil. You can't date the Solarian. And I can't remember if Scott can get Dr. Lexi Capera. But gay, you can also date what the fuck is his name? Damn it. I can't think of his name. The guy on Kadara. It'll come to me when the video is over. But yeah, you can date him. You know, but that's if you want to go the gay route. I'm not gonna knock anybody who wants to go the gay route. I just date as Sarah. That's it. I just play as Sarah. She's my favorite out of the two twins. I don't think that the ending was great because it leaves you hanging. It's a cop out. You're not allowed to go and find the Corians, which could have let the game go on for another hour. You should have been able to go at least find the Corians. They could have gave us a DLC to wrap up all the loose ends after you get rid of the Archon. they could have did so much more with the game, and they just didn't give it a chance. And y'all fucked up. EA, I love you, but y'all fucked up. You should have gave us a DLC. I still can't find the damn comic book or the graphic novel for Mass Effect Andromeda to see how this shit ends. Anyway, um, you know, we deserve our DLC. While we're waiting for Mass Effect's next game, we deserve our DLC. And I will say, while I'm on Mass Effect, I think that Shepard should stay dead. Don't get me wrong, I love my Fem Shep. I love my male Shep. But Shepard's time has come. We've put in three things. The Reapers should be wiped out. We need to know either about the Protheans or the Jardanians, and I don't think the Geths should be the bad guys ever again. Because if you play Mass Effect 3 and 2, once you get in good graces with Legion, it's kind of in your face. It's the same thing like with part 1 when you get in love with Rex. I'm gonna have to make a Mass Effect video after this. So I'm sorry. Apparently, there's going to be more than one video tonight, or 2 videos tonight, because I'm gonna give you guys my feelings on that now that I've gotten there. Back to the topic at hand, and yes, I am going to brush my teeth. They're right yellow right now. This light's just exceptionally bright, making my teeth look yellow. No, it's a case of both. Anyway, the point being made is that cop-out endings rob the fans of their investment, whether it's in video games or TV shows. And we, the actors, shouldn't do that to our fans. Now, you may not like it because I said that shit, but I honestly feel as an actor, as well as a person who watches stuff, I don't want a cop out ending unless I know for sure there's going to be a second part, like it's announced, like with Dune and Dune 2, where you know there's going to be a second part, and so you can leave the first part a cliffhanger, as long as you deliver on that second movie. All right, as long as you deliver on that second movie, or the trilogy, or the anthology, as long as you deliver, and everything is tied up in a nice little bow, sometimes shaped like a heart, so that everybody gets what they want. You know, the guy you love to hate really gets it in the end, that kind of thing, then I'm okay with the cop out ending as long as we know there's going to be a part 2. If the season is going to end like Sliders, then we need to get all the shit together, film a TV movie ending to wrap everything up, just like the miniseries Peacekeeper Wars did for Farscape. No, I mean, you guys don't have to agree with me, but how many times have you sit through a TV show and invested 3 to 4 years in it, and then it's done? I liked Stargirl. I really liked Stargirl, and it got canceled in the second season. But they did do what I'm talking about. They wrapped it up. They let you know that they did free, what's his name? Eclipse became a good guy. The Lantern kids got their shit together. And Stargirl did whatever it was she did. Her daddy was great. Her brother was great. Her mother was great. You know, if you can wrap it up in a cute bow and give it a satisfactory ending, I'm okay with that. But if you're going to pull a Battlestar Galactica, yeah, let's just fly all the fucking ships into the sun. Don't get me wrong. Battlestar Galactica was my shit. The original had a fucking ending too. And they had also a 5 TV miniseries. I forgot what it was called, but the guy from Falcon Crest was either Starbuck's kid or he was Apollo's kid. They cured some disease on Earth, and the Galactica never stayed at Earth. They had the flying motorcycles, they landed on Earth, they talked to the people on Earth, they solved some couple of equations, and then they had decided as a team in the show that we don't want the Cylons to come to Earth and wreck shit. So they flew the fuck off. And Earthlings never knew what happened. They never knew about the Cylons. The Cylons passed them by. So it's a cliffhanger, but it's a cliffhanger that leads you to know that the Galactica did make it to Earth, but the Galactica chose to go away from Earth to lead the Cylons back into space so that the Cylons would never come to Earth and dominate the Earth. Alright? Now, the remake, the cop out, fly everything into the sun, Starbucks a ghost, and apparently they made it with primordial humans. And so the humans on that Earth were I guess part Cylon and part human. I don't. They don't really explain the shit, but you do know that Starbucks' husband, a Cylon, flies the Galactica and all the technology, all the weapons, everything into the space, into the sun. But except for like the transport ships and shit that are on Earth and the primordial people, which technically it was Earth 2 because they made it to Earth, but Earth was destroyed. And so they left Earth. It's also where they found Starbucks' ship. Yeah, exactly. It got confusing towards the end. So, like I said, that little cop out just like ruined everything for me. Other than that, I have no complaints about Battlestar Galactica at all. I didn't get to see all of Caprica, so there's that. But, you know, if you're gonna make a show, and especially if you sign me, unless I'm killed off in like the first season or the first two episodes, it has to have an ending. If I'm going to be in that shit from beginning to the end, it has to have an ending. It has to have a decent ending, not some walk through the mud, fly by night BS ending that doesn't satisfy everybody. It has to have a decent ending where either the good guys live and the bad guys don't, or the good guys live and the bad guys live, but the bad guys have learned their lesson and they either unite with the good guys or they leave the good guys the hell alone for the rest of their lives. Something that falls somewhere in the middle of that, you know. So there's that, you know. But there's been a lot of shows that have copped out during the years, you know. And I don't like cop out shows. The new Charmed, didn't like how that ended. The old Charmed, at least that had a decent ending with Piper's kids becoming more powerful and stuff. Phoebe having a kid with Cupid. I don't remember what happened to Rose McGowan's character, but you know, she had a decent ending as well. And the three of the sisters got their shit together. Now, I will say, had I been on the show or in touch with the show, I would have made it possible for the three people to come back from the dead. Not to live, but at least to end the show on a good note. I would have had Prue come back. I would have had their mother come back. And I would have had their grandmother come back. Because their mother died first, then the grandmother, and then Prue. I would have begged, scraped, and tried my damnedest to get the producers to pay Shannon Doherty whatever it takes for them to come back as Ghost to just be around in the family room. They ain't even got to film it all together. We can film their parts separately, and then you know they can't hug Ghost, so that would work out. You know, have the freaking four sisters all together, and have them know that Prue is there. Maybe have Prue and the grandmother and the mother say something like "Blessed be," and then the little girl shut the door. You know, the child that belonged to Phoebe shuts the door, or both of the children that belong to Piper shut the door. You know how because the door closes at the end of the original show, and that's it. It's a good ending. The other Charm, the remake, they killed the sibling off. I'm like, why would y'all do the same bullshit that you did in the original? You gave the girls different races. You made one of them part black, and the other two were of Latin American descent, which was great. It was great. It was a good show. The White Lighter fell in love with the first sister instead of the middle sister, which was also great. You know, they all had different things going on, and it was a good fucking show. The ending was I was devoted to that charm, yo. I was devoted to that charm just like I was devoted to the other charm. Now, see, I was a fan of Angel. Angel ended on an okay note. It was a cliffhanger, but it was a cliffhanger that you can pretty much know that Angel was fucking shit up by the end of it. Him, his son, his team, all of them were walking that final walk to kill everybody. You know? So Angel ended in a nice way versus the cop out for the second charm versus the cop out for Battlestar Galactica. You know, that kind of stuff. And everything ended better than Sliders. We're not gonna go there. Sliders was one of our best shows, and it ended like it was like a kick in the ass with no Vaseline, like at all. No lube, nothing. It's like they took my flip flop here with this big red Puma on it and just right up there. I'm still mad about Sliders. I will never stop being mad about Sliders. But you get what I'm saying. You sit down, you go to work 5 days a week, You come home after work, you want to be entertained. You watch people like me on the screen. You deserve a decent ending to every show you are invested in. Deep Space Nine, loved it. And I'll be the first to tell you, the ending wasn't a cop out, but I didn't like it. I know that Cisco went to go with the prophets of Bajor, but it had a good ending. I hated it, but I liked it at the same time. And the thing I hated is that, you know, you don't know when Cisco gets to come back. All right? You don't know if Cisco's coming back, but you know he's going to go with the prophets of Bajor. All right? Uh, Star Trek Voyager. They found every possible wormhole at the end of the show to jump fucking 40 some odd light years because it was getting canceled. So they found a way to jump every possible wormhole. They knocked off almost 70 some odd light years because they had like 50 more years or so to go. But they found a way to jump over 70 light years back so they would only have like maybe one show. And they made it home, you know. And then when they had the split dimension thing, and one Harry got replaced because the other Harry died. Harry would be the Korean guy, so And then there was Chakotay. They didn't give Chakotay enough Native American stuff, so that kind of pissed me off a little bit on that. I'm sorry, I can't remember the actor's name, but they didn't give you enough Native stuff. They did not give you enough Native stuff, like at all. So the shows have to have a decent ending. That's all I'm saying. They have to have an ending. If I am signed and I am on any show, especially if I'm like the co-star, not the star. I will never be the star of any show that's not mine. But it has to have a good ending. Like if I play the lead's brother, and I say I'm on 7 episodes in the first season, and they decide they want to kill me off so I don't come back to season 2, I don't have a problem with that. But when the show goes back to season 2, please, if the show makes it to 3 seasons, have a decent ending set up. Alright? A lot of people don't understand that, and a lot of the actors don't have a lot of control over that. But I'm making sure that if I ever am in a show and I'm signed on to the end, it's got to have a good ending. It can't have that cliffhanger, and it can't have a cop out. So hopefully I made myself clear. Thank you to the 333 of you who are here. The next video is going to be about Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda. I am Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Ever number 2. Be seeing